Welcome back to another episode of Extreme. My name is Zach.
My name is Joey.
And my name is Adam.
I guess we're keeping you around now?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, you don't have a choice either way.
Well, shit. All right. Well, I guess take a seat and join us for a regularly scheduled episode because you gave me so much shit about saying the words regularly scheduled. I'm going to say it this entire episode.
You've been promising regularly scheduled programming for 2 episodes now, and you have not delivered.
Well, that is about to change because we're about to start our next game, Azure Striker Gunvolt.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A game on the 3DS that was released in 2014 by Inti Creates. Honestly, one of my up-and-coming favorite game developers as of late. They do really solid 2D action platforming games. So, for the most part, I have had absolutely great experiences with all of their games.
Yeah. I seem to like all our games too.
Yeah, and this one is absolutely no exception. It very much reminds me of where we came from, Joey, our roots in gaming. Very Mega Man X.
Did you ever play that with us, Adam? Mega Man X?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, next time.
Wait,
I think that's like a rite of passage now. We have to try that.
Wait, so this is the same group that developed Mega Man?
Actually, funnily enough, it is a group that developed a later offshoot of the Mega Man franchise. So they created some of the Mega Man Zero franchises, which were Game Boy exclusive games that played similar to X, but you played as Zero, like a Mega Man Zero.
Oh, word.
So yeah, they are technically Mega Man franchise creators.
Well,
cool.
So they have a pretty solid track record with making this kind of game, which shows, honestly. This game is tight as hell.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
So, like, as soon as I started looking at this game, the first dialogue, like, maybe laugh out loud. The first word was like, whoosh. Right?
It's just initial, like, Japanese anime right off the bat. Let's take that. Let's get that out there right now. This is like if an anime came to life, and just became a video game.
It's so good.
It fully like drawn cutscenes. Yeah, they're like static pictures, which fair enough. It's a style. You do you, but it's very anime, like
and
all the way
very Japanese.
Oh my god. Well, they are Japanese creators, so they're really just leaning into it hardcore. I'm talking like underage girls that are supposed to be sex objects, a lot of tentacle monsters, a lot of jagged edges on things, no nuclear bombs as far as I've seen.
Wait, tentacle monsters?
Not yet. Yeah, we'll get to those later, my man.
That fits in with splorching.
Yeah, let's not bring that up again.
Oh, it's coming back.
Oh, no.
If there's a tentacle, there's a splorch happening.
Oh, dear. I'm going to make a hard left into the prologue. Get away from
hard right, Jack. Come on, this is a side scroller.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Hard right. There we go. Thank you. We'll go talk right into the prologue mission right after this quick break. Because I want to take a break and reach out to one of our sponsors who we haven't heard from in a bit.
All right.
Woo!
Cleanse your itchy butthole today with brand new Chungus Extreme.
And we're back.
That's my line, you asshole.
Fuck you.
All right, take it away.
I don't have anything to take away. I can't handle this part of it. What are you trying to do to me, man? You're leaving me out to dry.
Adam, if you're hesitating, just like say one of the lines
from our say one of our lines from the game.
Oh, yeah,
they're all amazing.
We've suffered major loss.
Every single line that they say is hilarious.
Wait, let me find a good one. Wow. How did we let so much capital be tied to a single enterprise?
Sure. Good choice of line.
I don't know. I'm waiting.
Probably the least funny line, but I'll take it.
Well, you know what?
I'm waiting for it to scroll by.
Okay.
It's taking a long...
So, let's just start talking about the prologue mission, aka Anthem. So, it starts off with story in the beginning, where apparently there is this Muse character who is being used to enslave people with their trance. I guess it's like a Japanese idol situation, like a Hatsune Miku, except evil.
Okay.
And they're using the Hatsune Miku evil double to entrance people for reasons. Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's this organization, rebel organization, that wants them to not. To please not do that.
Yeah.
Yes, for opposite reasons. For, for good and justice. And other values that are deemed great. But, granted, it does start off with a hard right again, where our hero is tied up in a chair being brutally interrogated by a man with gigantic blue lips.
So you and your beautiful blue lips, Zach.
I mean, don't judge. Don't you judge my Saturday nights?
How did they get so blue?
I mean, look, someone's got to help the Smurfs out. Look, I'm doing my part.
You've been blowing Smurfs again.
Well, I mean, there you go. You made it to the joke. Look at you. Paul, give him a prize.
What did I win today?
Oh, okay. So Paul gave you that.
I guess there isn't. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave you that.
That's pretty cool.
Thanks.
But let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. So first, it's real good. This gameplay is very much reminiscent of Mega Man X. Very jump and shooty. The only twist that I can see between the gameplay is that you can tag enemies by shooting them with your gun. So it's basically like you shoot needles into people, and I guess you can funnel your electricity to these needles and just kind of like kill them with electricity. It's an interesting idea, I gotta say.
Yeah.
It makes for a lot of...
I thought it'd be like, make it a bit too easy, but it doesn't.
No,
it's like still challenging.
Yeah, and the real challenge, I guess, comes in not just hitting people with the tagging, but about chaining combos to unlock special abilities that come once you have gotten your combo meter high enough. But it is pretty cool. It's just amazing how well it flows together, where you're running and dashing and shooting and tagging, and even when you're hitting people with lightning and jumping, you could float down. There's so many movement options here.
Oh yeah, the floating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
It's pretty fun to just kind of maneuver around the stage, especially considering the controls are tight.
Yeah.
They're real tight.
That's probably the best part. Yeah. It's just the gameplay itself.
Yeah, that's a real problem when you have like a platformer action game like that, where you make you push the right button, and then 2 seconds later you start moving right. That's literally the worst thing in the world.
Has that happened since Super Nintendo?
Well, I don't even think that happened in the Nintendos, unless they were really bad programmers, which there probably were. But any kind of lag like that is bad. Latency is the killer in these types of games, but thankfully there's none here. But the cool thing about this whole tagging mechanic is you don't necessarily have to keep tagging the same enemy, but you can split your focus, basically. You are channeling lightning. So you can tag upwards of 3, maybe 4 enemies with upgrades, and you could try to take them all down at once if you're surrounded, or if you have a big enemy in front of you, you can tag them multiple times to really power on the lightning. Like, like Star Wars style, where you force lightning them.
Force lightning, yeah.
The palpatining, is that what it's called? You palpatine them.
Palpatining.
I'm palpatining them.
No, I think that's the technical word.
I believe it is. I mean, I'm not a fan of the prequels, but palpatining should be a verb. Like to Palpatine, we Palpatine.
Right.
He, she, we, they, Palpatine. Now I'm hungry for citrus for some reason. Nope, that's Pulpatine. That's the citrus. That's the citrus version of him.
Pulpatine, Clementine.
Clementine, Pulpatine.
Pulpatine sounds delicious though.
Definitely.
It's like a tang.
So as you're moving through the stage, though, you're gonna notice there's like picture-in-picture cutscenes, which is, I don't know if I'm just old, but I'm having a hard time paying attention to the action and paying attention to what's being said.
It kind of just like blinds you.
Yeah, because you're trying to pay attention to, not dying because it's a video game, but at the same time, they're just trying their best to distract the shit out of you by putting plot points in basically about a third of the screen.
Yeah. It's not optional. You have to read it.
I think you can turn it off in the options maybe, but it's by default on. So
there's a lot of script in this.
There is a lot. That's the thing. If you want the whole plot, you have to just kind of wait around. Either that or unless you can multitask like a motherfucker, like there's no way you're going to be able to actually get the story.
I feel like sometimes they're trying to like mess with you too. They're like on the train and they're like, make sure you don't fall off the train.
It's like, well, thanks, dipshit. I didn't think about that. I thought falling off the train would be a fun activity. Maybe next you'll tell me to make sure the bungee is tied to my foot when I jump off a bridge.
But I mean, it's good to have those reminders occasionally. Yeah. Like, I wish they had that when I was, like, riding Amtrak,
Right.
I don't know how you rode Amtrak, but please don't do that anymore. For your own safety.
Yeah, stick to theater.
Goddamn. I wish I could. I wish.
Either way, as long as you're not riding the train and then, like, in the lower half of your vision, you don't see, like, exposition for your life pop up every 5 seconds, then I think you're doing pretty good.
I'm glad that he's not riding, like, an Amtrak in this version. It would take fucking forever. And there would be no bathrooms on it. It'd be really uncomfortable.
There's no bathrooms?
Dude, it happened to me once on a 15-hour ride from Baltimore to Montreal. Like, the first, like, as soon as we got on it, like, 4 a.m, there was an announcement around 5 that was like, please don't throw diapers in the toilets. We all have to share them. And then somewhere around, like, 8 o'clock in the morning, it was, all of our toilets are out of order.
Oh.
And then I had to run off at some point and pee on a platform, like, somewhere in, like, I think in, like, Jersey or something.
They stopped the train for you?
Well, like, it was like a normal stop where, like, people were just like...
So you just ran off, and and ran back in?
Yeah, it was in front of a lot of people, too. There was nothing I could do,
I'm sure,
man.
like, a lot of people did that, though.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, if there are no toilets, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they had, like, a mayonnaise jar?
There were definitely old people on the train.
It was my grandpa's, like, trick.
He peed in a mayonnaise jar?
Yeah, like, he
Why
would...
mayonnaise?
I think it was
good
big.
volume.
Yeah, and if you got big cojones, like he did,
then
just, I guess they fit in the jar.
Right in there.
Yeah. You can just dip them in and do your thing,
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have a great deterrent in case, like, a robber comes on the train. You could just throw that at them.
Right.
And then they're just disgusted to do anything.
Exactly. Like my grandpa, like, gave me his car, and I remember, like, finding that mayonnaise jar in the back.
No! Sorry.
It wasn't filled.
Don't apologize. That's the correct
there.
reaction to hearing a sentence like that.
No?
No.
Just no.
No.
No. None of it. I want none of it. No, we're moving on. I very much
How
let
cool
this.
are the backgrounds, by the way?
Oh my god, they're very cool. I gotta say.
Yeah. Did you just hard write me out of my story about my grandpa?
Oh, we're doing the hardest right.
I hope there's a tire screech for that.
Wait,
Paul's gonna put it in post.
Was there more to the peeing in a mayonnaise jar story?
No, just the car smelled kind of funky. That was it.
Okay. So the exposition in this game is just so heavy-handed. I gotta say, it's a bit jarring. Like I think we talked about how jarring it is to have it on the screen, but it's constantly popping up. It's not like it happens once and then you're fine.
Yeah,
it's throughout the entirety of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it is the prologue, kind of, you know.
You're trying to set the stage. I get it. Exposition, whatever. You gotta sometimes just throw exposition in there. But that's the thing. Do you want me to pay attention to the game, or do you want me to pay attention to the story? You gotta.
Right. Yeah. Like, these things are just like popping up in the foreframe of like, the story.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's a bit at odds because it's like, what do you want me to focus on? Because I can't do both. And if I try to focus on your story while I'm in the middle of a fight, I'm going to die. But if I focus on the action, I don't know what's happening in the story. And then it's just another generic anime game.
I really love the script in this. She amps up septimal power for my electromagnetic field.
Yeah, I told you this was real Japanese.
At first I wanted to like do a reading of it maybe, but then I was like, well, this is too much.
We can find some we could find some stellar voice clips and just kind of recreate them near the end of our cycle here.
We'll save it.
We'll save them for the end.
Yeah.
But halfway into the stage, you end up at the first mid-boss, which looks just seriously like a mobile Gundam, because it's Japanese game, so you gotta have a Gundam.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
It's called a Mantis, though, so it's not technically a Gundam. All it does is shoots missiles and machine guns, because, we don't want to blow our load creatively on the first mini-boss.
Is it the mini-boss, or is it the actual boss?
Nope, this is a mini-boss.
Oh. Okay.
The real boss is later. We'll talk about that in a minute. But all you gotta do is shoot it in the head a lot, and then it exposes its core, and then you shoot the core a lot, and you keep doing that until it dies. Yeah. That's about it. There's no more to it than that.
Yeah.
It's very standard.
Just a big thing that you destroy.
Yeah, but speaking of standard enemy fare, you keep going through the stage here. There's just normal ass random soldier enemies that are just there to be killed. The only notable exception for an enemy is the one with the shield, because you actually have to think about how to engage them, because you can't just keep running and shooting them because they have a shield. So you have to decide, what are you going to do? Are you going to try and just jump around them and tag them from the back, or are you just going to ball over them with a special move and destroy them immediately? That's up to you. That's called thinking. I like it in my video games.
It's a thinking man's game.
Mm-hmm. But we do make it to the end boss, which, funnily enough, is literally the same as the mini-boss.
I knew
Wait
it.
a minute, is that a word?
I knew it.
Did you just say funnily?
Funnily enough, yeah. That's a word.
Funnily?
Yeah.
Funnily?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you
ever heard the word funnily?
No, funnily. Like funnily.
Funnily? Yeah, like funny.
Oh my god, that is a word.
Oh my god, are you this dumb?
I've never seen it spelled that way. But it's a definite knowledge gap to me. That's for sure. Funnily.
I've never literally experienced a man learning something in front of my eyes before.
I tell you, I'm learning new things.
But
this is a podcast of learning. That's what it is.
Yeah. If anything, we are a podcast of learning.
Except
I'm being
last week.
enlightened here. No, I learned a lot about last week.
I'm glad. I didn't learn shit.
I rediscovered my patriotism.
We're all very proud of you.
Yeah.
Because right now is definitely the time to reignite your patriotism in America.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Let's talk about this end boss, which is literally the same as the mini boss. The only difference is there are no boxes to stand on or hide behind. but it's literally the same boss. It does the exact same things, and you take it down the exact same way.
That's right, Zach.
There is literally nothing else to that. I don't know why they didn't try something different.
Yeah, or like at least change the color, or...
Yeah, no, it's the exact same color. It's like they just copied and pasted it.
Well, that's funnily enough.
Are you trying to use it in a sentence now? Because no, that's wrong. That's not how you do that. Let's try that. You want to try that one more time there, champ?
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Funnily enough,
he doesn't.
That happened.
Funnily enough, he has no idea how to use it.
No, I think you can use it like that. You can say funnily enough, and then have a comma. All right.
Yeah, that's mostly how it's used.
Get your rules off my back.
So then the stage ends, and that's it. Yeah, no, I mean it's a good intro because there's a lot of conveyance of how to use your powers. They do the thing where they remind you about like things that the protagonist should clearly know because they are them, and they didn't get amnesia and they didn't forget how to be them. It's like, oh yeah, you can use your lightning to power things that are electrical. It's like, oh my god, how long have I had my powers and I've never known to do that? Like, no, there's some weirdly jarring things about the explaining parts, but there are some good conveyance moments of, just going around tagging enemies and using your lightning powers, and so it is a good way. It's a good enough intro.
It's a good mix.
Yeah. It's not fantastic, but it's not bad. So I'd say I'd give it a pass.
Yeah, it was fun and not that annoying.
No. But I take a quick break because I realized we're almost at 22 minutes and we've been talking nonstop for almost 20 of them.
All right. Cue the music.
Woo!
And now, another reading of Craigslist Missed Connections by a complete asshole.
Oh yeah, you guys ready for this shit? It's about to get real steamy up here.
Real steamy.
It's my new song. To the beautiful brunette at the lobster counter in Longos in Thornhill.
The lobster counter in Thornhill.
If it's fate, you will see this.
Please do.
I was standing at the lobster counter in Longos this morning.
It was cold.
Bathurst and Rutherford.
Those are streets.
You walked by and looked at me and smiled, and my heart skipped a beat, girl.
I may need to go to the hospital.
You then walked over and stood very close to me and asked how much they were charging for that lobster.
That's a weird question to ask a stranger.
I explained the large to small, very small pricing.
That's very kind of you, random stranger.
I so wanted to carry the conversation further, but my tongue was tied.
Sounds like you really need to go to the hospital.
I'm beating myself up for not telling you that your smile made me weak in the knees.
I got arthritis.
If you see this, respond, and I may have to rethink if there really is a God.
Atheistic Christianism in a minute.
Do not contact me with unsolicited service or offers, girl.
Unless the offer is a blowjob, then maybe I'll consider it.
Post ID 6911987279. Welcome back.
And we're back.
And we're going to keep moving. We're going to move faster here.
Zach.
Yeah.
I really hope she finds that man at the lobster counter.
I don't know what you're talking about. We just put in a random commercial. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't have anything to do with it.
You son
I
of a
kind of
bitch.
just blanked for the last 5 minutes. I don't know what's going on.
But let's talk about the game. So it has a beautiful little cutscene here, which is, again, so anime. My life. It's just, this is all anime. There's a small child strapped to a chair who's being used to power this Hatsune Miku bot. And it's weird. Japan, you're weird. You need help.
Yeah.
So then our protagonist saves this small child, thankfully, but everybody on his team's like, yo, just kill the small child. And then he's like, no, I'm not going to kill
children.
I'm not going to kill the small child. And they're like, why aren't you killing the small child? And he's like, because she's a small child.
It's good reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he actually just abducts this small child and takes her to his house.
That's
instead
kinda
of like
weird.
setting her free.
Ooh.
So that's a bit weird. But no, they're going to play it off as a cute thing because now they're best friends, even though she now lives with him at his house forever.
Okay. weird series of events.
I think Japan may need some help. They might need like a hug or something. They also just intersperse these random things. You could talk to your friend, Jewel, and after the end of every conversation, it ends with, you feel a little closer to Jewel.
Yes.
This is so weird. Japan,
it's telling you
stop.
how to feel.
This is weird, Jewel. Stop. Japan, this is weird. Stop it. Okay, but back to the actual gameplay, though, which is not creepy and weird. There's a whole...
Should we do, like, another level?
Yeah. Let's talk about the subaquatic base.
Subaquatic base!
And I'm not talking about when you drop a bass in the water. Like a bass guitar. That didn't come off at all.
A sound you could find on GarageBand called subaquatic bass. It's just like, brings out only the low end, you know?
Yeah, Paul, do you have any subaquatic bases that you can tell us about?
Shit, Paul, that was really funky.
I loved it.
You gotta give it like a second Adam Proof to put something there.
Yeah, now let's give him a moment. Now, Paul, please feel free to tell us about your subaquatic base.
Gross.
Okay.
What?
That's kind of what I figured.
Really, Paul needs that long to pull out a subaquatic base?
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you just do. And sometimes you need to break into a subaquatic base to, okay,
to what?
no.
To what?
No.
No.
Let's dive into the abyss that is the subaquatic base because the mission is literally called Abyss.
Yes.
By the way,
it was disturbingly easy to break into this.
This subaquatic
That's the
base.
first line.
It was What? Really? That's what it says?
Yeah.
It was disturbingly easy. There's some great lines in this.
I thought that was just like one of Joey's comments.
I mean, it was disturbingly easy.
That's what I said last night when I put my dick into Adam's asshole.
Is that what you call your asshole, the subaquatic base? We're moving on. So, the boss of the stage, they give you a little heads up. Merrick, I guess his name is, forges traps in the subaquatic base, literally out of space and time itself.
Wait, creates what? What are you talking about?
He creates like wormholes that transport you to various different parts of the subaquatic base by literally tearing holes in the fabric of reality. So we're just jumping the shark almost immediately.
Yeah, but at least you could wall jump.
Yeah, you can wall jump. You can wall jump the shark if you want.
Wait, if he's... Yeah, I don't know. I don't see why they put this base in, like, underwater.
There's probably a big point of the story in there, but again, I'm playing the game, so I can't read the story. I want to play the game. I don't want to read the story while the game is going on. If they wanted me to read the story, they should have paused the game.
They're just hiding. It's like a good hiding spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to play this with like somebody else just watching so they can read the story and then fill you in on it later.
It's almost that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, like you need a reading partner, you know?
But either way, they definitely don't want you reading every line by line that they have written clearly. Because
yeah, do. Somebody with like an English
degree. They want you to play it a few times, I guess.
They put a lot of effort into the story, but none of which is going to be read. What they do want you to focus on, though, is these challenge rooms that Merrick sends you to, inevitably, because there's absolutely no way to know when you're about to trigger a trap. And funnily enough, one of the challenges in this stage is to avoid the traps. But funnily enough, there's zero way to know where a trap is. So there is no way to effectively beat this challenge without playing the stage over and 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 over again.
Funnily enough.
Oh, and yeah, I forgot to mention there are challenges in this so that you can add to get extra items at the end of a stage that you can use to craft customizations for Gunvolt.
Nice.
That's a thing.
Yeah,
I just wanted to touch on that because I completely forgot about it.
Classic Gunvolt thing.
The only reason I completely forgot about it is because it's so random that the crafting experience is pretty shit.
Oh, yeah?
Now, I don't mean to be harsh, because I like the concept. The only problem is that you need very specific resources to get upgrades, but you cannot choose what kind of resource you're going to get unless a specific challenge has that resource as a reward. Otherwise, you get rewards randomly at the end of a stage. So there's zero way to actually prepare or lead up to a specific upgrade that you want. You just have to kind of hope that you get what you need.
So they give the illusion of choice, but there isn't really any choice.
Pretty much. I mean, again, people will argue, but the challenges, you could get the items in the challenge. Just shut up. You know what? There's not every item in the challenge, all right? And some of the challenges aren't unlocked until later in the game. So what are you going to do? Just play the whole game waiting for that one challenge to unlock? Fuck you.
Funneling a nut.
Okay, I feel like we've talked a lot about the items. So let's talk a little bit more about the stage itself. It's definitely a subaquatic base.
Yeah.
You're definitely underwater from what I can tell.
There's a lot of vertical climbing.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of that, which is good because you have the wall jump, which is key for those kinds of traversal stages. There's enemies that can completely steal all of your electric power if it touches you once.
Yeah.
Which would suck if that was permanent, but it's more just an inconvenience.
So the music has vocals in it, which I thought was weird in Japanese.
Really? I didn't even notice that. I was too focused on playing the game.
Actually, it might not be
saying,
specific
Joey?
to the level.
Translate?
I think it just, like, the music just is, like, on shuffle or something throughout the game. Is that how it works?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to look into that. Either way, the only really other noteworthy part of the stage that I want to talk about, because there are some sections near the beginning where you just kind of need to wait for some pistons to move so you can progress, which is fine. I don't really like that because it slows down the pace of the game when literally half of this game is about moving fast. But there's a section where you're supposed to be escaping rising sea levels, where the boss is literally just going to drown everyone to kill you.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate that little piece of backstory for the boss you're fighting because it makes you hate him even more. Which I think is actually a good move because it gives you a reason to want to punch him in the face.
Right.
I do appreciate, like, in games where the bosses will chide you throughout the game and be like, hey, you're a dick, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you eventually, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
and then it makes you want to
more satisfying.
Exactly, and really like builds up to the fight where you're like, oh, this dick, I'm gonna punch him there.
Or like a Marvel movie.
Or a Marvel movie where they're just making pithy quotes literally all the time. That's all they do. It's just ever since Iron Man 1, just pithy quote, and then the bad guy started making pithy quotes.
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
That's the series.
That's the franchise.
The franchise.
Either way, what was I talking about?
Gunvolt.
Let's talk about Gunvolt.
Yeah.
Gunvolt.
So you need to escape the rising sea level. And the problem is if you get caught up in the water, you can't use your electric septima because that would kill you.
Yeah.
You know,
also,
it's great when... Yeah, you should apologize to me. Talking over me and shit. No, I was just saying it was, it's good to know that there are video games that are tackling climate change with this rising seawater business.
I'm pretty sure it's because we're underwater, though.
Yeah, but it's because everything's melting, Zach.
Yeah.
Is it an allegory for... Is it all just an allegory for the rising sea levels?
Funnily enough...
It did come out in 2014, so that's fairly topical.
Uh-huh. Very topical.
Yeah, dying by drowning is very cool. I mean, what? No, let's not.
Funnily enough, it is. See, I'm getting the hang of this.
Maybe a whiff on that one.
It.
We'll try that one more time a little later.
Just give it to him, man.
Okay, all right.
Come on, man. I've been working hard this entire episode to use funnily enough.
I'm like, you're so close.
I think I used it properly, all right?
I'm very proud of you.
All right.
Paul, give him a
Thank you.
cookie. Fantastic.
That was pretty good.
So I do like the juxtaposition of climbing climbing and beating the rising sea level so that you can continue to use your powers to progress forward and not die. Either way, I think that's probably the only noteworthy section of this stage, unless there's something that I'm missing.
The boss.
Well, I mean, of course, the boss, but we'll get to him in a moment. Something just kind of minor I wanted to talk about. In between each of the segments of the stage, they have these interstitial loading screens that have a lot of text on them.
Yeah, what is I didn't even read that.
No, they go by too fast.
Yeah.
It went by way too fast for me. So, I don't know if it loaded slower on the 3DS, that you could actually read them, but I'm playing on the Switch version. And the load times are maybe half a second, and there's literally a page worth of text for some of this stuff. There's zero way that you can read all of it.
Yeah.
It just makes me think they don't care that you read the story.
Right, they're just putting something there.
I think you need a reading partner. I think that's why they did this.
Like a speed reading partner?
But for this, even if you had one, you wouldn't be able to read it all in the loading time.
Unless you have somebody read the bottom half and you read the top half, and then you kind of just talk to each other.
Right. And just kind of meet up in the middle.
Meet up in the middle.
That sounds cool.
Speaking of meeting up in the middle, let's talk about the boss. Merrick. Or as the full title here, Merrick the Slothful Conjurer.
Wow.
Yeah, there's going to be an internet backstory about Merrick in a minute.
I feel like it sounds like one of the bosses from like Yoshi.
Yeah, but this guy acts like a shut-in, like literal what you imagine when you hear the word shut-in gameophile.
Yeah, I like that he's
Otaku
an actual
extreme.
I like that he's an actual human being. I think that's cool.
Yeah, he starts off as an actual human being and talks in leet speak and is like, "Lol, gonna kill you, bro." And he's wearing headphones because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about listening to what you have to say.
Kind of sounds like you a little bit.
But then he puts on his he puts on his Septima, I guess, and it gives him a big fancy chair.
Yeah, floating chair.
Yeah, because he's slothful. Get it?
I think he also like turns a little bit blue. I want to say
he turns a lot bit blue.
Yeah,
he's basically starting off the new version of the Blue Man Group, 21st century Bloomin'.
Blumenthal,
Mr. Bloomin'.
But the fight itself is actually pretty intense, I gotta say.
Yeah,
so it starts off easy enough. It starts off easy enough with normal. The chair punches him, punches Gunvolt. God, that's so. I'm just gonna call him GV. It's so much faster. But then he starts off. Whatever. It's not a mouth. It's all about mouth sounds.
That's fair.
Either way,
I stand by it.
The fight starts off with normal punches. And then we immediately ramp up to trans-dimensional missile launches, cannons, and mega punches. Because remember, he can tear space and time. And then when you hit him enough, he'll just fire his special skill. Because if you didn't think he was lazy before, there's literally lazy in the name for this special skill. It's called Lazy Laser. Because, nice. We want alliteration.
I don't know if you saw it, but, like, every time he shoots a missile, he, like, actually takes his human hand and does, like, a little pew-pew.
He does? I didn't actually notice that.
Pretty important detail, man.
That's a good detail to capture, because it just shows how big of an asshole he is.
He just kind of finger bangs you at the same time.
Yeah, just the finger guns. Pew-pew! Either way, this Lazy Laser skill, so he rips again multiple trans-dimensional holes, but he'll fire this continuous laser that basically fills up the entirety of the screen.
Yeah.
Which is very good for a final attack, I gotta say. Very, very hard to dodge, but eventually you just gotta kind of take him down. You gotta kind of whittle away at his health, take him down. I mean, this is a pretty solid fight.
Yeah. Not easy seeming.
No, not easy seeming at all. It's very fun, actually. I really enjoyed it, even if he is a huge piece of shit.
Did you read any of the dialogue?
How about you hit me with some good ones, if you have any on you?
I wrote down this one that insinuates is... Shut up, Adam!
Do you need some background? No, I was going to give you some... Here you go.
What's his deal?
Read it or what?
He's just messing with me. Not really. I'm just not trying, Way too much effort to go all out, You see, I'm a super genius, so I really hate doing stuff myself. Then why not stay at home and avoid doing shit? That would be super legit. But no work means no food, man. Life is hard.
that was beautiful.
Yep, that was great.
Can I add a little bit more to your... I found the quote. I'm going to add a little bit more. Do not play the piano anymore! Man, real life is the worst game ever.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
But this time around, if I pwn your sorry behind, I get a 3-year paid vacation. So I made this special plan while my MMO server was down. I even used my Septima. That's totes a big deal, But those worthless grunts just had to ruin everything. Those sons of glitches had no business draining that water. It's so weak sauce.
Weak sauce, baby!
Weak sauce.
I'm really glad we invited the Ghost Prince to this podcasting.
That was lovely.
That was lovely. Oh, we stopped? Okay.
Thank you, baby! Oh, was that? Thanks, Prince. Really appreciate that.
You can go float off back into the abyss now. We'll call you back when we need you.
We used one of his
Sounds good.
space-time holes from the game to bring him back.
Yeah. I mean, if it was going to be used for anything, it was probably that. But we basically kind of just led our way into an internet backstory by complete coincidence.
Internet backstory.
Do you guys have like a lead-in song for that?
Yes, we do.
Just sort of like in it. Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, they just played it right now.
Yeah, you didn't hear that?
Oh,
Didn't you hear that?
yeah. No, it's pretty good.
Are you sure?
Thanks,
I don't
Paul.
think you heard it. Maybe we play it one more time just
All right,
so
let's
you
hear
hear it.
I'm getting my ear up close now.
Internet backstory.
You hear it that time?
Funnily enough. Yeah, I heard it.
Were you going to follow that up with something?
I just inserted a comma in there, okay?
It was
So let's talk a little bit
It was
about
that thing that went internet backstory. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that one.
That was that thing.
Oh.
It was like
let's talk-
internet backstory. Ding.
Does it... Wait. Oh, it went like, internet backstory.
Yeah, like that. That's the one.
It was like that. Or was it a little lower?
It's
Like, internet
it had both.
backstory.
No.
I've got a backstory from you from the internet. No.
No.
Merrick, the slothful
Funnily
conjurer.
enough.
God damn it.
All right.
Let me talk about Merrick, damn it.
Internet backstory. Ding.
Merrick apparently is 13 years old. I didn't know that.
Wow.
And he's 4'11", very small. His status is currently deceased.
Wait, so
Yeah,
he's a ghost?
Nah, he's dead now. Can tell you that much. So,
Oh,
so we killed a 13-year-old boy.
Wow.
I wouldn't say that too loud, man.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, not we. Gunvolt. Gunvolt killed a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Zach
Gunvolt
has
killed a
admitted
13-year-old boy.
Admitted
How old is
to a
Gunvolt,
serious crime.
How is Gunvolt? Let me look him up.
If he's also 13, then that's okay, I think.
Give me a sec. Let me see if I can find out how old he is.
Where have we gone wrong with these children? You know?
Oh, Gunvolt's 14, so it's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's only 1 year older, which is
Yeah.
weird because he doesn't look like a 14-year-old. He looks like he's at least 20.
Right.
Granted, I don't know. This is weird.
No, that
Either
makes
way.
sense. You know?
So a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old were fighting with their superpowered personas. That's
You know,
the most Japanese sentence I've said in a while.
he might be 13 in the game, but he might be played by like someone in their 20s, you know? Kind of like
Probably.
Dawson's Creek, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
Well,
Dawson's
right.
Creek.
Yeah. Basically.
Let me see if I can find some funny quirks about him, aside from the ones we've already talked about. Merrick apparently is very fond of playing video games, which he mentions he would much rather spend his time doing, and has a tendency to use gamer slang, which we already talked about. He's incredibly apathetic and seems to have no regard for human life when he literally flooded his entire base full of human life. What else do we got here? We have his quotes, which we talked about. Oh, here we go. From the designer himself. Let's hear his comments on the character. I think that Merrick is a character that truly represents teen mindset of putting on headphones and making it unclear whether he's listening to you or not. And by behaving that the world's like no big deal, man. The pre-transformation design uses previously submitted ones with some small fixes on it. Unlike all the other characters who are bigger than GV, he's smaller, which places him in the quote-unquote cute category. It's hard to hit small characters, so he used a gigantic seat to establish balance. Merrick's motif is a lazy bear, but the image of the demon Belphegor sitting on a toilet is more pronounced. Although Merrick uses a seat and not a toilet. The vertical, long, fluorescent parts of his arms and feet were added so you could be able to tell he's sitting in a cross-legged stance.
Cool.
Yeah, there's too much to talk about with Merrick, and I'm just going to call it there with Internet Backstory.
Internet backstory. Damn it,
Is it
Adam! I
gonna
was trying
play
to
again?
take a
Did it just...
screenshot of your bare ass, but you stopped doing it.
My bad. You can still get a good one of that. Is it looking?
Well, thank you all for listening. I really appreciate that you stuck through us. We've gotten back to our more regularly scheduled programming.
Yes.
And we're very excited to be going on this new adventure with our buddy Adam, who's literally showing us his ass in the
video. Just send us an email.
Yeah,
It's theextreme@gmail.com.
Yeah, if you want to see his bare ass, which we've now screenshot, yeah, we'll share it with you, and you can do whatever you want with it. So it's the Extreme. That's ITSTHEXSTREAM@gmail.com, and we will send you that picture of his butt.
This is really gonna haunt me if I ever run for anything.
No. What are you gonna run for? A donut?
Maybe. Get paid a lot for that.
I mean, I would run for a donut. Yeah. I would love to get me a donut right now. I'm freaking starving. Speaking of which, we're going to end the podcast here because I'm hungry as hell.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have anything you want to say before we cut out here?
Funnily enough, no.
No, I think you took it from me, Joey.
Oh, sorry.
You son of a bitch. That was my word.
That was yours. Right. You had that. You should have had that one. Next time. Wait, you guys stopped recording?